Hey everybody, Nick Beatleston with Good Impacts. Welcome to our Share Your Sun webinar with Ed Bird. This ethical entrepreneur webinar is being presented by Good Impacts. We help guide ethical entrepreneurs along your business journey. We provide a host of services, everything from project design and implementation, all the way through helping mission-driven organizations like yours create systemic change within your industry. We also provide a number of services for our friends in the nonprofit sector. If you're interested in learning more about how we can help you on your ethical business journey, please visit goodimpacts.com. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. Everyone's cameras are turned off and everyone's microphones are muted. We'll probably leave them that way for the duration of this webinar. If you do have any questions that you'd like to ask Ed, please feel free to use either the Q&A or the chat function at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Either one works for us. And we'll save the last 10 minutes of this 30-minute webinar for audience questions. And this webinar is also being recorded for future use and education. A couple of quick notes about me, and then we'll get to the much more interesting Ed and Bird sunglasses. I started Good Impacts in 2018 to support ethical businesses as champions for change. I also have a background in communication and journalism, as well as nonprofit development and leadership, and some really formative experience in supply chain and community development work in the specialty coffee sector. And before that, I spent a couple of years with the Army. But let's talk about Bird. Bird is the word. This really cool UK-based company was started by three brothers, and it is helping to drive change in the eyewear industry by designing frames that both look great and create great impacts out there in the world. And it's not just about the impacts. These are quality products. In 2019, Bird won the highly coveted Frame of the Year award and beat out a number of international competitors to do so. And they've been nominated again this year. They're also the UK's first and only certified eyewear B Corp, and one of only 3 eyewear B Corps in the world. In order to become a certified B Corporation, they had to pass a rigorous impact assessment and were scored on 5 impact areas: governance, employees, community, environment, and customers. Just to give everyone a frame of reference, if an average business was scored using the same assessment, they would normally come in at around 50 points. Bird scored nearly 40 points higher, right around 90. So they are walking the walk. And a big part of that for them is their sustainable sourcing and recycling programs. So Bird's material is sourced from a number of sustainable areas, including certified woods, bio-based acetates, and repurposed metals. They also have a recycling program which gives participating customers the opportunity to receive a 50% credit on their next purchase. Far and away, though, the coolest social impact project of Bird is their Share Your Sun program. This buy one, give one model in partnership with the international NGO Solar Aid helps provide families in Malawi and Zambia with solar lights. So folks are probably familiar with the TOMS model. This is a similar partnership. Every time a pair of sunglasses is purchased, Bird donates and Solar Aid is able to provide a family with a solar light. So this project has been going on for a couple of years now, but it's already led to some really exciting impacts. Over 2,000 people have already experienced better health, It's led to 800,000 extra hours of study time. It's averted almost 850 tons of carbon from our atmosphere. And it's saved families over 125,000 pounds in fuel costs. So I think that's enough from me. Let's talk to Ed. I think I'm most interested to learn about how your family experiences and how your personal experiences led to your decision to start Bird, and how they've guided your process in shaping the company.
Yeah, so I guess having visited both South Africa and Kenya, having worked with charities and visiting rural areas out in Kenya, I taught in a orphanage school in South Africa for a little while. So I think for me, seeing the issues firsthand in those countries, particularly in the rural areas, was something that really kind of stuck with me. And so I guess when it came to putting the brand and the company together, it was at the forefront of my mind. And we knew that we wanted to start a more than profit business. We wanted to create a company that made a difference in the world and had an impact. So yeah, I mean, things came together really quickly, but for us, it was an opportunity to do something about the things that I guess both myself and other members of my family had seen. So, and to date, we're the only sunglass brand to have that solar connection. Something that we're really proud of. It's a really impactful business model. It's something that our customers love, and they love to share it with their friends and love to talk about it. And for us, it's a real exciting thing to know that we're not only creating great sustainable products, but we're helping consumers change other people's lives across the world. And I mean, you mentioned those stats already. Yeah, I mean, I think we've impacted well over 4,000 people now, and we update our stats every quarter on the website, and so people can find out more about the project and how it works, and how we partner with SolarAid to work with their projects on the ground as well. So yeah, it's been a really lovely thing for us to pull together as a brand. And I think one of the really important things that we've tried to do is to weave that story right through the heart of our brand and our products. So it's right at the forefront of what we're doing, because we know that it's something that really, really matters.
If you hadn't included that really foundational part of Bird sunglasses in right from the get-go, if that wasn't a part of your model and your brand identity, what do you think the company would look like today?
I think we would still be making fantastic, sustainable sunglasses and eyewear. We would still be at the forefront of innovation with sustainable materials. Earlier this year, we became a B Corp. We became the first UK eyewear company to become a B Corp, which is a huge achievement for us. So I think we would still be kind of championing those things, that sustainability and doing good. But definitely, for us, the magic of the brand is our Share Your Sun partnership and the impact that has.
So were there other brands that you've modeled Bird after?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, thinking about brands like Patagonia and Tom's, Vivian Westwood, there are a number of just amazing brands across the world who are, pioneering new technologies, new materials. They're all brands that stand for something, and usually they're brands that are more than profit as well, which is what our business model is. So, it's about people, it's about the environment as well, which is something that's just so important. So yeah, we definitely took our lead from a number of brands, and we still follow. We probably have, I guess, probably 10 or 15 brands that we follow, and we talk about the things that they're doing, and we kind of borrow ideas from them. Some other brands that we know personally, and we chat to about ideas as well. So that kind of idea sharing is really important, and I think it's something that being a B Corp has really helped us with. That B Corp, it gives you a platform. So we're on the B Corp platform alongside huge global brands like Patagonia, and that gives us an opportunity to interact with them and to share ideas as well.
Ed, can you talk a little bit more about some of the value you've gotten through being a B Corp? I've talked to a number of folks that say, yeah, we love the concept, but we're already doing all those things in our business. Why do we need one more certification just to prove to our customers what they already know?
Yeah, I guess for us, it was just the best way of measuring everything good about our company. And so there are no doubt loads of accreditations that you can get, for materials, for employer schemes, or for energy usage, or there are all manner of certifications out there. But I think what B Corp does is it takes a really huge overview, and it's a really in-depth process. They do a deep dive into every aspect of your business. And so for us, whilst we knew that we could easily say, oh yes, we are using sustainable materials, and that's a really good thing, and our customers would really appreciate that. But there might not be, or there might not be, I guess, the opportunity to share other parts of the business. So what B Corp does is it really gives a platform, and it looks at every aspect of the business, from material usage right through to employees, to your energy usage, to your recycling, and it just it gives you an overall score. So we've found that consumers really love this, because more and more they are buying into brands as a whole rather than just products that are made well. So that's where B Corp has played a really key role.
And you said something interesting about the network of peers that it's connected you to, and I think sometimes it gets oversimplified. Oh, it's one more certification we can slap on our packaging, which is true. It adds credibility to branding, but I think one of the really exciting aspects is being connected to that network of peers for solidarity and for problem solving.
Yes, and B Corp globally have a platform which is called the Beehive. So all the B Corp brands and members can join this. It's I guess a bit like a social media platform, and on there there are discussions and forums and webinars and idea sharing, and so it's really helpful for a brand like ours that is still in its growing phase.
Have you guys had a chance at all to look at some of their new SDGs, their sustainable development goal tools that they've rolled out this year?
I have briefly, and I know that's something that we as a team we've discussed, and we'd love to try and fit that into um, our, I guess, the sustainability of the brand, and so we're currently thinking about how we can kind of relay that to our customers, to our followers as well.
They're really cool. They're really robust. I think
Mm,
they take a little bit of time to learn how they can be beneficial for any one organization.
yeah.
When we talked a couple of months ago, you mentioned how important it was at the get-go to have some of the advice and guidance from CEOs of other local companies. And I definitely see a theme emerging there between the connection into the B Corp network and finding other companies to learn from and model after, and then also having that interpersonal relationship with other leaders.
Mm.
Can you talk a little bit specifically about how working with other CEOs at the inception of Bird helped?
Yes, so this was long before we were a B Corp or even starting the B Corp process. So for us, it was really just we were coming into a new industry. We hadn't worked in the so when I say we, it's me and my brothers. We're a family business. My background is in education, and I'm a drummer. And my brothers are all designers of various sorts. So we were coming into a new industry. Fashion, eyewear, retail, e-commerce, and it was stuff that none of us had really got stuck into before. So so from the outset, we were just contacting sometimes people that we knew, like through friends of a friend who ran a company, but in other cases, just kind of cold calling companies. And so I sat down with probably 10 or 15 different CEOs or quite high level managers, and right across different industries. From I met with a footwear CEO, like a financial, there was food and beverage and fashion and all sorts. And then that was just really helpful in kind of understanding how businesses really work and how they become effective. And as we were thinking about our kind of e-commerce and retail side of the business, thinking about, well, how do we calculate margins, and how do we work out all of the things that we need to work out. So yeah, what we found is that we didn't have any rejections from any of those asks. The conversations were always fantastic. I always came away with pages and pages of notes, many of which that I still reference today. And I think most people in companies, whether they're on the board or a CEO or in a manager level, they really love the opportunity to be generous, because they've all been there. They've all done it. Some of these people started their companies 10, 15, 40 years ago from scratch. So yeah, I would really encourage anyone thinking about starting a business to do that, to try and sit down with as many people as possible, and just to ask all of those difficult questions. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Above and beyond some of the obvious things like accounting and calculating margins, like you said, were there any through lines, any shared lessons from folks that transcended, this is a food and beverage thing, this is a fashion industry thing?
There definitely will have been. I think probably most of those things will be around people and how you work with people and how you communicate with people. And particularly for a brand like ours, then how you communicate your story with consumers, which is the most important part. So I think, you know, whether you're communicating with your team or your kind of your closest followers, or whether you're kind of advertising out um, to more people, learning how to communicate your brand and your vision, I think, is one of the most crucial things about building any kind of business. You know, whether you're in e-commerce or manufacturing or in fashion. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and hop over to a little bit of audience Q&A. Take a look at what. Yeah, so somebody was quick to point out that I really glossed over the Share Your Sun program and the relationship with Solar Aid. So maybe you could talk a little bit more, Ed, about what the program is, but also how it got started, how that relationship with an NGO got started.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're an eyewear brand, and you know we started life as a sunglasses brand, and right from the inception, we knew that we wanted to be a more than profit and impactful business. So you know we had experience, as I mentioned earlier, of kind of, you know, being in Africa, working and teaching there. So you know we had solar. And so we thought, well, you know, sunglasses and solar just go really well together. No one had done it before. So we were kind of trying to come up with, you know, catchy taglines, as you do when you're starting a brand. You know, like, you know, give your sun, or, you know, give your sunshine, or, you know, something like that. Most of them were really bad. And it was my wife that came up with the Share Your Sun. And as soon as she said it, you know, we were just like, yes, you know, that's the one. And like almost in that instant, the idea came together. The next week we got in touch with Solar Aid, which was a charity that we knew of. We knew the work that they did. So we asked if we could pitch an idea to them. And they said, sure, you know, that sounds great. They gave us a date. And what was funny is we were pitching to Solar Aid the same day that Tom's shoes were pitching to Solar Aid, which made us slightly nervous at first, because we knew that Tom's were just about to start making sunglasses. So we were thinking, oh no, you know, they've pipped us to the post. You know, they've kind of they've got there first. And but as it turned out, they were pitching to Solar Aid for their Apple Watch strap. So for Tom's, you know, it was by the gift of time, and it was about the education element. So we were really pleased that, you know, we shortly after became the first sunglasses brand to have a solar connection. Working with Solar Aid is fantastic. And in essence, what that does, in very simple terms, I've got one here. So this is like your very kind of typical rural African village kerosene paraffin burner. You know, you can fill it with all sorts, petrol or kerosene. And this is what millions and millions of families use to light their homes after dark. As you would expect, you know, they're dangerous. They give off toxic smoke. They're a fire hazard as well. So just, you know, not good, give off CO2, burning fossil fuels. So that's, you know, just no good. And so Solar Aid they run a kind of like for like replacement, which really starts people on this kind of on this solar energy journey, where they start saving money. They can light their homes for free after dark. More children can study after dark as well. People can work after dark, which is a really big thing in a country like Africa. You know,
I don't think a lot of folks who haven't had the experience of traveling know what it's like in some places, especially closer to the equator. When the sun goes down, if there's not available light, that's it, done for the day.
Oh yes, yeah. It's so dark. It's completely, yeah. It's pitch black. So Solar and their teams, they set up these micro businesses in communities. They work with the communities to educate them, and this is an example of one of their small solar lights, which is a like for like replacement. These tend to have a life of around 3 years, but they can also be fixed, so they run repair programs as well. They can be worn on your head with a head strap, which is great for working. So yeah, so that's kind of in very simple terms how it works. So for every pair of frames that we sell, it pays to distribute a light like this one out into a project in Africa, where it's then used by families who need it the most.
So obviously you produce a really high quality product, and folks like it because of that. They like your lenses for that reason. They're well built. The materials are fantastic. They're hip and trendy. I don't think anyone said hip or trendy for like decades. But what's some of the feedback that you've heard from customers about the Share Your Sun program as a added benefit to their purchase?
Yeah, it's always really positive. I mean, I think the first thing that our consumers are looking for is a quality product. So for us, that's the most important thing. So it's no good having a fantastic impact model if your product is no good. So that's our that's the kind of the first tick box for us, is making just exceptional eyewear, beautifully made. All of our frames are hand finished. The materials we use, whether it's sustainable woods or recycled aluminum, is that's paramount. So that's what people kind of buy into first, but then when they find out about our Share Your Sun partnership, that's when they just really kind of fall in love with the brand. And it's something that when they're wearing a pair of birds and people comment on them, it's usually the first thing that they say, and like, oh yeah, these are great sunglasses. But the reason they're great is because they impact in all of these ways. And so on our shipping boxes and little information cards, it tells consumers about all the different ways that their purchase is helping. So yeah, really, really lovely feedback, which is great.
Yeah, I think about brands which haven't spent the time and the energy and the resources to build that into their identity. And the conversation is, wow, those are great. Yep, I like them. And that's the end of the consumer and friend conversation. There's no yes and to it. There's no reason for them to keep the conversation about your brand going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Couple of variations on the same question, but essentially what's coming up next for Bird? What's on the horizon for you guys?
Yeah, so last month we launched our virtual try-on tool. So if people go on our website, they can use augmented reality to try on a frame, which has been really cool. And we've done that right across our sunglasses range. So we're just about to do that for eyeglasses as well. So for prescription eyewear, people who wear glasses all the time, they'll be able to try on frames, which is a huge barrier to buying online. And we're also rolling out a try-on box service as well, where people can choose 4 frames. We will ship them a try-on box so they can try them at home. They can choose the frame they like best, ship them back, and then we get it. We get the frames glazed for them. So yeah, there's a few cool things like that. We're launching a few new styles. We've got a few new kind of materials on the horizon as well. Some of which I can't talk about yet. But yeah, so we're always kind of looking for new design angles and new kind of ways to reuse or recycle materials, or just generally improve the brand, 1% better every day. adds up to a lot.
That's a perfect segue, I think, into how folks can continue to stay connected to you, especially to learn about those things coming up that you can't talk about just yet. So best ways for folks to connect with you, obviously visit the website, sign up for your newsletter. Anything else?
Yes, on social media, all of our social media handles are at Share Your Sun. So you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If anyone wants to get in touch via email, you can find our email on the website. It's just hello@birdsunglasses.com. And so that will often find its way to me as well. So yeah, any questions or people that want to get in touch, then yeah, please go ahead. Excellent.
That's the beauty of reaching out to a still small company before it becomes a multinational behemoth. You can find guys in charge. Couple of quick ways to stay connected with Good Impacts. Similarly, you can visit our website, you can sign up for our newsletter, or you can drop me a line, Nick@Good Impacts. Ed, before we call it a day, anything else to say to the fine folks?
Well, I think, just to say, keep improving, keep trying to make those small gains every day, buying more sustainable products, looking for brands that are doing good, that have impact models. I really recommend, looking into the B Corp brands as well, whether it's huge ones like Ben and Jerry's or Patagonia, but there's many other small ones. And I think people are often surprised that they may well find, very local businesses to them that are either B Corps or that have great impact models. And yeah, it's things like that are going to slowly but surely improve the world and improve the lives of millions of people around the world.
Excellent. I can't think of a better note to go out on. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.